María, como vamos a...
Hey friends, Mr. Daniel here. What an extraordinary time to be alive. We've got quite a learning adventure today. We will explore the field snare drum from my hometown of Colonial Williamsburg, Virginia. And then we'll take a trip to Richmond, Virginia to meet an old and dear friend of mine. Are you ready? This is a half-sized replica of an 18th century field snare drum. These are full-size replicas of 18th century field snare drums. Replica means an exact copy of something. We play these kind of drums with two wooden drumsticks. Can you notice the unique tones that the different drums make when I play on each drum head? Are you able to guess what materials these drums are made of just by looking at them? The round part here is called the shell of the drum. It's made out of wood that was cut into long, thin sheets called plywood, which are soaked in water until they get soft and bendy. Then the plywood is slowly bent until it makes this cylindrical shape. The top and the bottom drum are surrounded by these two wooden hoops called rims that have been painted red. The rims are held together by over 100 feet of rope that has been wrapped back and forth many times in and out of holes that surround the rims. These pieces of leather that slide up and down the ropes pull the top and bottom hoops tightly together when I push them down. You can remember the names of these pieces of the drums because they look like a part of my head. Did somebody say ears? Yes, these are the ears of the snare drum. You may have deduced by now that the top and bottom part of the drum are called heads. This top part here is known as the batter head, and it's the part of the drum that we play when using our drumsticks. The bottom side of the drum is known as the resonant head. These drum heads are made of animal skin, in this case, cow skin. Now, people have used animal skin for drum heads for an incredibly long time, even since the first drums were played in Africa long before people kept a written history. Now, pulled tightly across the resonant head are strings called snares, and you guessed it, this is how this drum got its name, the snare drum. Now, when I spin this little metal wheel, the strainer that's connected to the snares, it makes the snares tighter and gives the special high-pitched sound of a snare drum. So in the 18th century, just like these replica drums, the snares would be made of sinew, which is actually animal intestines twisted tightly together into string. Now that might seem strange to us today, but before modern materials were created, it was common to use parts of animals to make musical instruments. Are you ready to learn how to play some things on the snare drum? So if you don't have a drum with you, you can pretend by using your hands as drumsticks and your knees as the drum. Or you can make a drum out of something around the house, like a bucket or a box. If you don't have any drumsticks, you can make drumsticks out of spoons or chopsticks. Please remember, friends, if you are using your body as the drum, be careful and gentle with yourself. And if you're using things that belong to others to make your drum, be sure to ask their permission and leave the things that you borrowed in the same way that you found them. As drummers, we have building blocks called rudiments that when we put them together, they make up measures. and measures put together make up songs or tunes. This is kind of like letters put together that make up words. And when we put words together, they make up sentences. So let's learn your first rudiment, the single stroke roll. We're going to play these rudiments open to closed to open, which means slow to fast to slow. So the first one, the single stroke roll. Right, left, right, left, All right. So this is the single stroke roll with my hands on my knees instead of the drum. So here we go. Right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. Right, left, right, left, right, left. Nice job. That was awesome. Some of you made it so smooth in the transition from slow to fast to slow again. Now your next rudiment is a double stroke roll. We're going to also do this one open, closed, open, and we're going to focus on making the transition very smooth. Here it goes, double stroke roll, otherwise known as the long roll. Right, right, left, left, right, right, left. Alright, here is the double stroke or long roll using spoons as my drumsticks and this bucket as my snare drum, pretending. Okay, we've got right, right, left, left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, right, Nice, friends. That was awesome. We've done the single and the double stroke roll. Can you guess what the triple stroke roll is? That's right, 3 taps on each hand. Right, 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 left, left, left. We've got the triple stroke roll now on the snare drum. So remember that's 3 taps on each hand. And we're going to do it open, closed, open again, which remember it means slow to fast to slow. We're going to make it as smooth as we can. Right, 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 left, left, left. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Right, 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 left, left, left. Awesome, that's a tough one. Okay, last 2 rudiments for today. This next one is called a flam, and it goes like this. Now this rudiment is 2 taps almost at the same time. So one hand goes before the other, really close. So it's gonna go like this. Left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left. Flam, 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 flam. Let's do 20 of these flams just to practice them and get them tight. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. All right, 20 flams. Nice job. That was awesome. All right, now for the last rudiment of the day, the rough. The rough is 2 taps on one hand followed by 1 tap on the other. So we can play the rough like this. Right, right, left. Left, left, right. Right, right, left. Left, left, right. So the rough alternates, which means I start on my right hand and then I change to starting on my left hand. So it's right, right, left, 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 right, 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 left, 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 right. Let's do 10 roughs and we'll get a little faster each time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's the rough. That was a great start. If you keep practicing these 5 rudiments that you just learned, then we can do more advanced rudiments the next time we study the snare drum together. Now that you've learned a little bit about 18th century field snare drums, it's important to let you know that traditionally they were accompanied by, that means played together with, an instrument called the fife. I'm going to have my friend Anthony tell you a little bit about the fife.
Yeah, so this is a fife. It's made of a hard wood. This particular fife is made of coca-cola wood. At the end, at each end is a metal ferrule. It holds the fife together. Very simple. You have 6 finger holes and 1 blowhole. That's all it is. Just inside the fife is a cork, like a regular cork. You can kind of see it. It sits right here, and all it does is it forces all the air underneath the finger holes and out of this end of the fife. The fife can be heard for about a mile away. It was used all the way up to the 18th century for communication on the battlefields, because it could be heard above the musket and the cannon fire.
I began playing this kind of drum with the Colonial Williamsburg Fife and Drum Corps in 1990 when I was just 10 years old. Colonial Williamsburg is called a living history museum, and that's why when you visit there you will see that everyone is dressed the same as people used to dress over 200 years ago in the 18th century. When I was in the Fife and Drum Corps, it was only for boys because that's just how it was back then. But there are boys and girls in the Corps now who start when they are 9 or 10 and graduate the summer after they finish high school. Now, my granddad, James Anthony, loved fife and drum music, and he also played the field snare drum, and he led marching bands after he came home from his time in the military. My earliest memories of drumming are with him teaching me to play rudiments on the table at restaurants with silverware where we were waiting for our food to come, because even then I had a hard time staying still. Now, my Aunt Liz was also a drummer, and she played in a girls' fife and drum corps when she was younger. These are my favorite drumsticks that she played with for many years and then gave to me. I love this little case that holds them. It even has a string that I can put around my shoulder to carry them until I'm ready to play. So one of my favorite things about my time in the Fife and Drum Corps was that I was part of friendships that began when I was a child and that I still have now 30 years later. It's amazing that these old friends can still meet up and play tunes that we played all those years ago, even without practicing, because we played together so much for so many years. Now, speaking of friends, you remember Anthony that shared with us some information and demonstrated the fife? Well, I've known Anthony since we were both 10 years old and just beginning in the Fife and Drum Corps. He's still an awesome fifer and a great friend. Would you like to head up to Richmond, Virginia with me to visit Anthony and hear us play some tunes together that we grew up playing? Well, let's go then. Cool. So, hey Anthony, I'm so glad you could make it to visit today, and I'm excited for the friends watching to be able to meet you. So, man, how's your family doing?
Family's doing great. I had a niece. She graduated a couple years ago from the Corps. And life is great. Life is great.
Wow, so your niece is graduating from the Fife and Drum Corps. How
she
cool
did.
is
Yep.
that?
Oh, that was so cool to see her come through just like I did, and that was so great.
Wow, that's so neat.
Yeah.
I just love to know that the tradition of the Corps is still going. New friends are being made, and she already graduated, so she's taking that with her onward in life.
Most definitely.
So what a cool experience. Well, seems like last time we saw each other was down in Florida in Key West.
It was.
How about that?
Yeah.
That was good.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun then.
Yeah, beautiful place.
Great
I hope that we
place.
get to have another connection outside of our homeland.
Yeah,
Go
for sure.
take a trip together. So I was hoping to ask you a few questions about your experience in the Corps.
Yeah.
And I was also hoping that we could play a tune together.
Of course.
Okay, awesome. So the first question I have is, what was one of your favorite memories, and what was one of the things you liked most about being in the Corps?
Without a doubt, the thing I liked the most about the Corps was the camaraderie we had. I mean, we was in there for 8 years. We grew up together, and from that came lifelong friends, brothers, and whatnot. And, I haven't seen you in a couple years, but we just picked back up like it was yesterday that I last saw you. So, I mean, people who I consider family now. It's, we grew up together and we've grown together as from kids to adults, and that's the best thing that I took away from the Corps.
Yeah, I think that's probably the answer I would give if somebody asked me.
Yeah.
It's really amazing to be able to simply send you a text and say, hey, I've got this idea, I want to introduce you to some of my friends, and right away you responded and we just back at it. So that's a really rich thing, I think, to have friends and people that we consider family that aren't necessarily our birth family, and yet we know each other so well we don't even have to say it. So beautiful. Well, tell me, what was one of the most challenging things you remember about being in the Corps?
I think the most challenging thing, especially when I was younger, was coming into the group as a youngster and having such a high standard on things. The bar that was set by the guys who came before us, like we had this burden to elevate our performance and our work to their level and to carry it on as well. So, that pressure being put on as a 12, 13-year-old, that's being, the standards that are being passed on from the 16, 17, 18-year-old guys to us, the pressure to perform and not mess up. You didn't want to be that one who messed up or let the group down, because it was a group performance, but one person can make the group, kind of falter a little bit. So there's a lot of pressure that I put on myself as a youngster to maintain that high quality and that high standard that was already there.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. As you say that, I remember the feelings I would have of fear about learning the tunes and then excitement once we performed them and everybody did it the same.
Right. Oh, yes.
I don't know many things like that in my life now where we have to be all at the same time.
Right.
And that was a neat thing, and how difficult to be young and do that.
So when we had those performances that were just perfect, I mean, the feeling was, it was amazing.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. It was, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, I'd love if you could take a moment, if there's a positive message that you could share with our friends watching here with us today.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things, especially now over the past few months, is things just been so crazy, and people haven't been at work, people haven't been at school. But one of the things is check up on each other. A lot of people have been home alone, just not. We are social creatures. Like, humans are social creatures, and we need that human connection. And the past few months has taken that away from us. So check on people, text people, call people. You can still connect with people like me and you, and keep your distance.
Yeah.
So that's one of the main things. Everyone just needs just check up on each other. Check up on each other.
That's beautiful. Thank you. I'm going to take your advice. There are a lot of people that I know that I've been thinking about, and I think that sometimes it takes that extra push to reach out and actually say, hey, and you're right. I think that's a very important thing we can do right now for each other.
It takes 30 seconds to send a text or just a couple minutes to make a phone call. So that can mean the world to people.
Sure. I think everybody's going through things. One day maybe we feel happy and excited and things are together, and then the next day we might feel very overwhelmed. So that's beautiful advice. Thank you. So there's something that I want to share with you, something that's been on my mind. And I know that you work as a police officer, and it seems to me like it could be a really tough job. And sometimes I worry about you because you're like a brother to me, and I don't know what I'd do if anything happened to you. And I just want you to know that I'll be sending you positive vibes, and I'll be sending positive vibes to the people that you interact with in our community, because I think it's so important and so special to have people like you that believe in a mission to make the world better and safer for people. And I just wanted you to know that you're being on my mind and be in my heart, brother.
I appreciate that so much. People like you who have known me almost my entire life, who don't know me as a police officer, you know me as Anthony. And you know who I am as a person. And I've had lots of people just text me, message me, check up on me. Through it's been crazy. It's been it's been tough out there for everybody, for the society, for the community at large. And you know, for you to say something like that to me, it means a lot. It means a lot to me.
Sure, man. I mean it. And I'm excited. I'd like to give you a call soon when I'm in town, and we can go do something outside, maybe take a hike or play some more tunes.
Yeah.
So I'm so glad to reconnect with you.
Yeah.
And I guess we never lost connection, but in the world these days, we are around so much and everybody's working. And so it's so nice to see you.
Good to see you too, as always.
Cool. Well, shall we clap it out?
Yeah.
Oh my, look at the time. I've got to get some reading done, write some letters, and practice my yoga and meditation so I can sleep good tonight. This is Mr. Daniel, founder of Rhythm Moves, wishing you and your family and your friends good health, courage, and positivity. My mission is to share musical instruments and culture to educate, inspire, and unite. Sometime when you're online, hope you'll check out rhythmmoveslive.com and let us know where Rhythm Moves can visit you. Oh yeah, if you want to write a letter with a question or just to say hi, send it here to the Music and Culture Lab. Looking forward to next time we're together. Peace and love.